Have you ever wondered why you can swipe through videos in the dark for 3 straight hours, but the mere thought of opening a textbook or lacing up your gym shoes feels physically exhausting? When you stare at a blank document and feel completely paralyzed, the problem is rarely a simple lack of willpower. We are often told to chase the dopamine hit, but that entire concept is a scientific myth. This lack of drive is a mechanical failure in your brain's operating system. You are dealing with a neurobiological user error. By misunderstanding exactly how dopamine functions in your body, your daily habits are actively breaking your biological motivation engine, keeping you trapped in a continuous cycle of exhaustion. To fix this, we have to look at what dopamine actually does. It is the universal currency of craving, drive, and effort. Your brain regulates motivation like a wave pool, maintaining a constant dopamine baseline. Highly stimulating activities create a temporary peak, a sharp upward splash. But afterward, your baseline doesn't return to normal. Instead, it crashes, plunging deep into a trough. With less dopamine circulating in your system than you had an hour ago, your general daily capacity to pursue any goal evaporates. Pursuing these massive artificial highs creates a subsequent debilitating deficit in your motivation. Neuroscientists proved this reality using rats. When researchers completely depleted the animals' dopamine reserves, the rats still enjoyed food placed directly into their mouths. But without dopamine, they would not move even a few inches toward a meal placed just out of reach. When you spend your morning endlessly scrolling social media or eating highly processed food, you do the exact same thing to your brain. You can still enjoy passive comforts, but you lose the capacity to move toward your actual goals. This mechanism explains the damage caused by dopamine stacking. This is when you layer multiple motivators to force productivity, like drinking a pre-workout beverage, listening to loud music, and scrolling Instagram between sets. Layering these external motivators forces an extreme, unnatural super spike in your reward circuit. While it feels effective for 60 minutes, it guarantees a severe crash the moment you finish. Using external stimulants to force short-term motivation drains your biological battery. Tomorrow, you will require even heavier stimulation just to reach a functional baseline. While these biological loops can trap you in exhaustion, their inherent reactivity also makes them programmable. You can use specific behaviors to alter how your receptors respond to difficult work. The first protocol is intermittent reinforcement. Casinos keep people at slot machines because the payout is completely random. Unpredictable rewards keep the brain's dopamine receptors highly sensitive. You can apply this by flipping a coin before a study session or a workout. Heads, you get to listen to your favorite playlist. Tails, you work in total silence. The second protocol involves reframing the reward. When you focus entirely on the finish line or the reward at the end of a task, you signal to your brain that the work itself is a painful obstacle. Instead, tell yourself that the friction is the reward. By consciously stating that you are choosing the struggle, you engage your prefrontal cortex. Over time, your brain will start releasing dopamine in response to the effort itself. These cognitive overrides shift your dependency away from external spikes, generating an internal loop of motivation that you control. This chart compares 2 different chemical responses. The first curve shows the sharp crash following typical stimulants. The second curve is cold water exposure, which elevates dopamine steadily to a 250% peak and sustains it there without a crash for up to 3 hours. But optimizing these peaks is useless if your foundational dopamine levels are empty. Maintaining a healthy baseline requires strict adherence to quality sleep and viewing sunlight within an hour of waking up. If you are sleep deprived, you can use a 10 to 20 minute guided relaxation practice known as non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. This protocol restores your dopamine reserves by up to 65%. The dopamine system acts as the primary mechanism for steering human behavior. Yielding to cheap thrills surrenders control of that mechanism directly to algorithms and food engineers. By mastering your baseline mechanics and finding value in the effort itself, you stop living as a reactionary lab rat. You become the architect of your own consistent, self-directed drive.